says, my husband said you are divorced to me 3 times in the same moment, in a moment of anger, but we would like to reconcile. What can we do? Number one, who determines the anger? Of course, whenever every person or any person says you're divorced, he's angry. But what kind of anger which would invalidate or revoke this divorce and make it invalid, insignificant? An anger with which the person was absent-minded. The person, that's why it's called in Arabic a state of ighlaq. His mind was locked up. He was very furious. He was very angry. He didn't know what he was saying. So after he uttered the word, the wife said, you know, you divorced me. Did I? I don't recall that. Did I really say that? And he doesn't recognize who is in front of him. A serious anger. A person who takes things out of context pertaining divorce and say, I was angry. I can tell you that in most cases, men would divorce their wives whenever they're angry. Not whenever they're having dinner and he likes the food he likes, he is eating the food he likes and he says, thank you honey, he says, guess what, you're divorced. Nobody does so. Only when you're angry. So number one, I try to explain the state of anger which will make divorce as it didn't take place. Second, when the person says to his wife, you're divorced 3 times in the same sitting, he has committed a big sin. Why? Because Allah has explained to us in the Quran, and the Prophet ﷺ described to us in the Sunnah what is the proper way of giving divorce. In the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. الطلاق مرتان. Allah is giving you this concession, this relief. Not because you said to your wife you're divorced or file for divorce. Actually, divorce will be irrevocable, irreversible, and eternal. No. You have the right to divorce your wife once, then twice, and after each time you have the right to revoke your divorce within the iddah, which is either 3 periods, 3 tuhr, or 3 months for a woman who does not experience the iddah, like a woman in the menopause, for instance. So what happens here is, if you divorce your wife, instead of giving yourself this concession of saying divorce once, then revoking your divorce, then maybe a year or years later you say the word again, you still have this concession. But when the person utilizes the 3 divorces at once, he's committed a big sin. Also, it is an innovation to divorce your wife when she's having the period. I did explain before that women go through some psychological pressure due to the PMS, due to the period. So the man who does not have this problem should be wise enough to understand that she is not really in the normal conditions. Maybe she's really angry. She is under psychological pressure. So give her the benefit of doubt. Do not divorce her during this time. It is prohibited. But if you do, it falls effective and it counts. Nor is it permissible to divorce your wife in a tuhr, after the period, while you had a relationship with her, a sexual relationship with her, because that may result in conception. That's not permissible as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is tightening the circle of concession for a man to give divorce to his wife, to wisen up, to slow down and reduce the divorce cases and the divorce rate. And this is exactly what's needed to make the process of divorce a little hard. So that is the benefit, this is for the benefit of the whole community, for every couple, of course. When somebody waives all of these rights, I call them rights, not duties, not obligations, waives all of his rights, the right of giving divorce once after another for 2 times, and the 3rd is irrevocable. The right to give divorce only whenever the woman is in a tuhr, where he did not have sexual relations with her. And he wastes all of that, and he says to his wife innocently, you're divorced, you're divorced, you're divorced. Or you're divorced 3 times, as many Arabs say. In this case, he's in a big trouble. The first trouble is the sin of violating the instructions of Allah and His Messenger ﷺ pertaining divorce. The second trouble is that Jumhur al-Fuqaha of the companions and the four schools of thought, Shafi'i, Abu Hanifa, Malik, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, are of the view that this kind of divorce would count as irrevocable. Yani, the 3 divorces have fallen effective, even though he said it all at once, not in the same sequence or order as Allah explained in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, in Surah Al-Nisa, and as it's mentioned in the Sawan Ahadith. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Talaq pertaining this, لا تدري لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا. You never know. Maybe after you divorce her, if it is the first or the second time, Allah will do something different. Maybe He will develop love in your heart towards your wife and vice versa, and she will love you as well. And that's why it is the sunnah and the obligation, as it is mentioned in the Quran, لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن ولا يخرجن إلا يأتين بفاحشة مبينة. If the person divorced his wife and now she's waiting for the iddah, whether it is 3 periods or 3 months, she must spend the iddah time at her husband's house. She must stay in the same house. Why? Maybe when he sees her after filing for divorce or giving her divorce, he would regret. He would say, was I crazy? How could I do that? She is the mother of my children. I cannot live without her. And she would do and say the same. That's why it is recommended for a divorcee, a woman who is divorced the first or the second time, to adorn herself, to prepare herself and purify herself like she is newly married, as a means of reconciling. These means of reconciling have been prescribed by Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Furthermore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Talaq, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever keeps his duty to Allah, let's say pertaining divorce now, if you follow this order, Allah will deliver you out of this hardship, will give you a way out. What is the way out? You know, I feel sorry I divorced you. I love you and I cannot live without you. Okay, Allah says, there is a makhraj. There is a way out, which is return her back to your marriage life. How? Do I have to pay dowry? Do I have to file for a new marriage contract? No. Just simply say, أرجعتك, or come back to my marriage life. Or kissing and hugging her according to Abu Hanifa is sufficient. Do I have to make a new contract? Do I have to bring witnesses? None of the above. She is already at home. She is already with you. And now you realize that you're crazy. You messed up. So you regret. And she understands that was going to mess up your marriage life. So she would not put you in a condition like this anymore. She would not keep pushing you to the edge. Divorce me, because she knows that. Now you wasted one chance. One more chance, and that's it. الطلاق مرتان. Then فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. Guess what? Furthermore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Talaq, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ يُسْرًا. And whoever fears Allah and keeps his duty to Allah, Allah will give him an ease. Allah will make his affairs easy, whether pertaining life, business, marriage, divorce, everything will be easy for him. Why? Because you abide by the divine constitution, by the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So please remember that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the hadith is collected by Nasa'i, Muhammad ibn Lubayd narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was informed about a man who divorced his wife 3 times all at once. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very angry, and he said, أَيُلْعَبُ بِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ وَأَنَا بَيْنَ أَظْهُرِكُمْ. How could you play around with the book of Allah? The book of Allah refers either to the entire Quran or any segment of it. There is a hukm in the book of Allah that applies to the whole book. So how could you play around and mess up with the hukm of Allah, then with the book of Allah, while I'm still alive and amongst you? The Prophet ﷺ was very angry. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, Tarjuman al-Quran, was asked about a man who divorced his wife 3 times at once. He said, عَصَيْتَ رَبَّكَ وَبَانَتْ مِنْكَ امْرَأَتُكَ. You've committed a big sin, you disobeyed your Lord. وبانت منك امرأتك. The second danger is your wife has been divorced fully from you. The 3 times have fallen effective, irrevocable. That's what called بينونة. يعني طلاق is irreversible. لم تتق الله فيجعل لك مخرجا. Then he recited the ayah, يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن, which means before the iddah. Keep in mind that they have to observe the iddah. The hadith is collected by Abu Dawood al-Daraqutni. Some of the Jews, such as Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim and his teacher, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy on him, considered that if the person said you are divorced 3 times at once, counts only as 1. Because that was the case at the time of the Prophet ﷺ and the time of Abu Bakr and most of the era of Khilafat Umar ibn Khattab, due to a reference like that. So in cases like that, we have to resort to the local judge or the local faqih or imam in order to examine each case separate and handle it separately. Barakallahu fikum.